So let's hear it for Papercake.
Test. Okay, cool. So living within your means is hard. It's like really hard. There are 5 million college seniors in this country carrying $147 billion in just credit card debt. Half of them are going to default on at least one bill by the time they're 25. What's more, 84% of them say they need help learning how to manage their own money. And why? Because it's hard to teach. And people don't generally learn how to manage their money until they've made it, and then they've made a bunch of mistakes with it. So we've got to get in front of this devastating trend, and we think that starts here. This is the reason we created Papercake. So as parents, Brett and Jamie know they need to give their kids real experience in making smart spending decisions early in life. So they signed up for Papercake, which is a kids finance platform that lets kids actually manage their own money from their own bank account to give them that real-world experience. So Brett, having already registered, is going to log into Papercake to configure some of the critical house rules that we need, like spending limits and parental approvals, that are going to prevent his kids from spending impulsively. Next, he's going to securely link Papercake to his family's bank accounts, so he's able to reward his kids in real time for a job well done. And should he so choose, he can link Papercake to any of the primary social networks to share in his kids' successes with family and friends. So now that we've got everything set up, we're going to fast forward a few months and we're going to talk about how Papercake gives kids that experience. So today's like every day for Brett's 11-year-old son, Optimus Prime. He logs into Papercake and he checks it out to see what he's got going on for the day. Immediately he gets his dashboard where he gets a real live view into his bank balance. Up in the balance bar is broken into 3 different segments. The first is he's got $55 in his vault, which is a parent-configured forced savings mechanism for the kid to help them put money away and keep it there. The second is $15 in additional savings Optimus has chosen to save himself. And the last is he's got $79 in available cash. From here, we move into the activities panel where he can see his earning events, his earning activities, and their associated rewards. We've also got a preview of his wish list here, which shows a couple of the items that he wants the most, both material and non-material things like extra TV time, etc., and his progress towards them. And we've got his Kid Biz Center, which is a subset of his financial performance over the last couple of weeks. So Optimus sees he's getting close to that Atari. He wants to investigate it a little further to see how much longer it's going to take him to get there. Now, when he lands on the dashboard, he's greeted with a series of colors and animations that have been specifically designed to convey to Optimus that he's either met a goal or he's close to meeting a goal. Seeing that he's close to getting that Atari 2600 he wants, he uses our future bar at the top of the screen to find out exactly how long it's going to take him to get there. With the click of a button, he can see that when he finishes his chores this week, he's going to be able to get that Atari. So doing what any good kid would do, when he sees that, he logs off and he starts running around the house to finish his chores. Grabs his iPod Touch, launches the Papercake app. Now within the app, when he's moving around the house, he can mark his chores complete. When he finishes with the last of his chores, he's going to get a notification that says he's earned his allowance. And Brett, his dad, who's following along at work, is going to get a notification as well that says the chores are done, and with the push of a button, is able to pay his allowance and reward his kid in real time. Optimus gets the notification that the money's hit his bank account and does what I would do, which is immediately go back into the system to buy his Atari. So as parents, we know that this is the critical moment. This is really the split second that we have to get in front of our kids to help them understand the consequences of their decisions before they make them. Optimus is going to add the Atari to his cart. And just like that, the interface changes. It shows him, by removing the animation and the colors that he's so used to seeing, that if he decides to purchase this Atari, he's no longer going to be able to afford the other things that he wants. In an instant, we've triggered that mental conversation that's really at the heart of all good financial decision making, which is, if I spend this money now, how will it affect what I'm trying to do in the future? Our interface literally shows him the answer to that question. So after some careful thought, he weighs the costs, he clicks buy, and he gets a notification saying he's purchased his item. Brett gets a notification on a smartphone or the next time he logs in and has to approve the purchase. So what have we done? We think that with Papercake, Brett has successfully changed that parent-child conversation from mommy, daddy, buy me to you have your own money, you can buy it yourself, but should you? He's also given Optimus a tool that gives him the knowledge required to make an informed spending decision every time and a platform that gives him the experience to be able to do that. All of this without a single lesson on the value of a dollar, on savings, on cash flow, or even uttering the word responsible. So lessons. We've learned quite a bit along the way. First and foremost, and we learned this really early, is that kids digest information supremely differently than adults. Kids tend to experience and then emulate something, whereas adults tend to classify and file it. So to maximize the learning potential of our platform, we've tried to present some pretty complex information in a non-traditional way to cater it to how kids learn the best, which we think is by experience. We've used animations and colors to really immerse the child and have them experience the consequences of their decisions before they act so they can make that informed decision. The second lesson is kids know whether they love or hate something pretty much immediately. We used kids in our design phase to really better understand what they liked and what they expected. We got feedback on placement of items, on colors, on our design elements, on the animations, all in an attempt to ensure we were conveying the experience required to have the kid learn what it is that we were presenting. We're going to do the same thing again in our testing phase to not only make sure that we designed it right, but we built it right. So that's Papercake, and thank you. We'll take some questions.
Awesome. And as always, we have some young people in the audience, and I wonder what you guys think of this. Do you guys have allowances yet? You do? Well, you want to come up and talk about what you think of this? And then maybe, I think we have a goodie bag over here, too, with iTunes cards, so if you give some good feedback, maybe you'll get one. Cool. That's like an award. So what's your name?
I'm Maxim.
You're Maxim? Wow, that's an awesome name. My name's Jason, and I wish it was Maxim. And so do you have an allowance?
Yes.
How much?
$3 a week.
$3 a week? That's like $1 million a year, right?
No.
No? Okay, I'm not good at math. So did you see Papercake? And you think that's something you might want to try using?
Yes.
You liked it? Yes. What did you like about Papercake?
I don't know. I just like it.
You just like it, yeah. Do you have chores that you have to do in order to get the $3? No. Just get it free, $3? But do you have to do chores?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. You might want to negotiate a little bit of that. You could probably get it to $5 if you just said, hey, I'll sweep the driveway. All right, good idea. All right, hey, you want to pick something from that bag? You were awesome. Pick something from the bag.
Max, how old are you?
Yeah, Max, how old are you? I forgot to ask you.
I'm 8.
8 years old. All right. Hey, what's your favorite gadget? Do you have a gadget? Like a phone or an iPad?
My favorite is my mom's phone.
Your mom's phone? And you have a favorite app?
Yep, Temple Run.
Temple Run. Well, I think there's an iTunes card in there, and if you get one of those, take one of the iTunes cards. Don't take all of them. But if you take one of those iTunes cards, you might be able to get some in-app purchases. Yeah, there's 3 there, but take one. Yeah, that's 3. And if 2 from 3 is 1, right? You got it. Okay, awesome. Hey, guys, what did you think of this?
Quick demographic. Who is this target? What age groups?
So we've got features in our application, we think, from a wide range of about 4 to 14. We expect to see a pretty good drop-off after that. But our sweet spot is that 7 to 12.
And how do you make money?
Affiliate model. So
okay.
Yeah, we've got a couple of other revenue streams. We've got some things we haven't really divulged because we've been in stealth mode. But that's where we're starting.
In-app purchases, perhaps?
Perhaps.
Or grades, maybe?
Perhaps, yeah.
Okay.
I think this would be great.
Guess the roadmap time.
I think this would be great for fundraising, like to totally key in on that market.
So part of, and that's originally where I think the idea started with Brett and I, was in that sort of philanthropic mindset of how do we make kids more aware of not just their money, but the need to, I think, to give back to the community. So that's something that's definitely very clearly on our roadmap. We're not afraid to say that. And I think a part of that is linking in with charities so kids can donate and do the things that they need to do.
Even for kids their own, because everything costs money. So like if you want to play a particular sport, it costs this amount of money to pay for everything. Point. And so I think that would be another key area.
Oh, you mean hit up Grandma and Uncle Jason for money for the hockey equipment?
Yeah.
Not that happens.
All of your wish list items can be set up as custom. So you can put anything you like into a custom reward.
Dave and Thomas, what do you guys think? Is this a fundable company yet? Is this something you would be interested in incubating, perhaps, at Angel Pet?
So I'll ask the annoying question. You only get the annoying question because I like the product, right?
Rude.
Otherwise, I would ask the product question.
We'll take it.
How are you going to get distribution?
That's a great question, and we were hoping this was on. So this was
I hope you have a great answer.
Yeah, well, we have identified a number of launch partners that we'd like to partner with. Part of our program involves real banks and real money, and ideally we'd like to identify a couple of regional banks and get some launch partners.
We've looked at some. We've looked at children's magazines. We've looked at a lot of the basic stuff. I think to really try to not only get this in front of the parents who are really the people that are going to be pushing the kids into the product, but also make it exciting for kids.
At what age do parents open bank accounts for their children?
We see that at all different age groups, even from mothers expecting that want to start the process. We feel that those folks can even start and create wish lists, registries for things as the child grows. You mentioned you have a child, 6-year-old as well. So as you start, maybe they're not touching it at those earlier ages, but they can have a nest egg and they can have something to grow into. But we find that 6 to 8 seems to be a sweet spot where they're getting a little bit more involved in going into the banks.
Since you're dealing with young kids, are there any social elements embedded into your platform, something that would help you, particularly on viral distribution and so forth? Or is the age group a limiting factor on sort of the social implications?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all well aware of the social networks and kids and everything that's going on around that. So we do offer the option currently for parents to link their social networks, obviously, and share with other parents, which we feel like is going to be huge because parents get competitive with what their kids do, what they like, what they use. But from a kid's perspective, for those that have it, we can link to it. And for those that, as these social networks for kids start to develop a little more, if they have open APIs, we're going to hook right into those and let them share stuff with their friends.
So I'll just give you 2 points of feedback. So the first one is I think the affiliate model is broken. And I mean, as a revenue model, and anytime you go to an investor and tell them you're living off 3% Amazon affiliate or 5% something else, you're going to have a lot of resistance. So I would look into alternative revenue models. I don't think parents would be too upset about paying a few dollars for this a month or an annual or something, or have grandma pay it, and kind of get the whole family involved in this process the way Joe has mentioned early on. I also think that on the distribution model, obviously this can't be very viral because you're dealing with children, or just somewhat viral. The distribution partners really do matter, and the acquisition costs really matter. So this is a product where I like it. It looks great. It seems like you've done the homework. You're in stealth, right? So you haven't figured out a lot of things. You were. So I think it really comes down to the details on this, if you can make it work or not.
I wonder, do you get paid a bounty if somebody opens a bank account, or you give an 8-year-old a credit card?
So most of the primary financial institutions in the country where most people bank do offer that through affiliate programs and the like, yeah.
What would that be? Like, what do you get for opening a savings account for an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old?
So ING has a standing program right now at $20 a pop, which is pretty good.
And you think they would probably give you triple that to be like the exclusive or something?
And that's kind of where we're going. Yeah.
Awesome. Any feedback, Betsy? Good?
I think it looks really neat. There are a couple of other companies that are in really exactly the same quadrant. Agent Piggy is one, and there's another that's been developed by a guy and his kids. So they have kind of this interesting dad and child develops the product story. So I think that the distribution question is going to be really challenging, but it looks like a neat product, and you seem like smart guys. So we'll look forward to seeing it.
Awesome. Let's hear it for Papercake. Well done.